Black Power family, we are live. General Seti, Sarasu, Seti, you too. You already know what it's gonna be. We gonna bring nothing but the fire. We got the flamethrower out, family. You know we do. We're gonna be talking about how can an original Black Indian race originate in the Arctic North America. You see, we got to come with this, man. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I am. And I keep going right up the middle. Boom, come through. Goddamn it! Like what is Jerome Bettis? You understand? I come right up the middle. Boom, hit line, blow them off the line. Can't get nobody to say nothing. It's a state of confusion out here. You see what I'm saying? It's a state of confusion and shit. Where people just trying to elevate, and I got to be what it is, and disconnect at the same time from the origin of all civilization, and we can easily look at the characteristics of civilization today. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing about no Lemurians. I don't want to hear nothing about no Atlantises. I don't want to hear nothing about no goddamn land of Mu. I don't want to hear nothing about none of y'all occult garbage. You see what I'm saying? Crackpots. You see what I'm saying? Fairy tales and all of that. We don't want to hear nothing about that. We want to see what is. We want to start with what is, not what, somebody made up in a goddamn Dr. Seuss book. You see, we're talking about how. Now, why would I say something like this? Because a lot of people, they want to act like they homegrown. Some niggas don't even, some people say, you got different mentalities. You got some people that say, oh, you a mixture of this, but you love the mixture, nigga. The mixture is a way for you to be a coon. You see what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Before we get started, family, because it's gonna get hot. You might get mad at me and shit. You might want to hook back up with me later on Patreon. Click that link at the top of the chat. Hit the subscribe button. Goddamn it! If you get mad at me, goddamn it, hit the unsubscribe button. It is what it is. We talking about, how could we got this black race that supposedly originated here. Now, some people you got many understandings. You got some people that, they say, oh, we came from different places and we a combination of a different, different things. You got these original black people that was here. And, but, me, myself, I'm trying to figure this shit out. Because studying geology, studying geography, and you can look right now on the planet and you gonna see that the majority of dark skinned people is below a certain longitude. You see what I'm saying? Longitude, latitude. We could look at this for and you look at Africa, which has the dominant population of what just deal with it. Melanin. So because some of you niggas want to generalize, you like melanated. Let's deal with the melanated then. So if we have to look at it from a numerical standpoint, most of the melanated people on the planet is in Africa. You got India now over there, but we talking about Africa. You see what I'm saying? India, you got India, but you got Africa, and then you got the descendants of Africa. You see what I'm saying? Which would push it clearly over 2 billion. So, a lot of people just want to misrepresentate African people. You know what I'm saying? And so what am I saying? We are people of the tropics. Just let's deal with that. I'm not ever gonna say nothing other than that we are children of the sun. Now we can leave and go wherever the fuck we want to go. We've done that. You see what I'm saying? But see, the thing is, this is why we having these problems. because our people have had this identity problem for a very long time. And for a very long time, and a lot of once you go through the processing of the European and what he didn't taught as far as black people's history and things of that nature. People didn't want to be African. They didn't want to be, you talking about just recently motherfuckers got some history for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Black history in America is nigga, you fighting to get out of slavery. Yeah, we did accomplish, but we was in slavery. We've been fighting to get our, equality since we've been over here. If you go through American history, and so most people ain't got you got a little Shaka Zulu and a little Mansa. They might give you a little Mansa Musa, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Mansa Musa, maybe a little Shaka Zulu, but that's about as far as it went. You didn't get the ancient Egypt. You didn't get the greatness of Africa. You got some greats, but they was safe because they was in these areas that they have already labeled to be goddamn where black people us came from, so they safe. Shaka Zulu still safe. Mansa Musa still safe. He did go to Mecca, and he was in a safe area. But then when you start getting into the Egypts and the Carthages and the new, and then see they even try and take the Nubian with the damn Bible shit. You see what I'm saying? And people don't understand that they trying to align, some of them up in there with biblical, according to how the Bible has classified, got the races. And this is a fact. This is a fact. We can go into the German model for race classification, where they started calling people these names. And it was in the German school system, a train of thought, where you get a lot of this, this modern, what you want to classification. Blumenbach, what's his name? Blumenbach, who, the five race theory, Blumenbach out of Germany. You see, and all these other classification, Mongoloid, Africoid, and all of that. And so that come out of Germany, that's documented. So, so they even trying to take, African civilizations through the biblical model. Okay. But when we look at it, it's clear that we are a tropical people. So when I think of original, I don't know what people think, where the environment that can produce your people. Now, what people gonna do, they're gonna say, well, it used to be in these areas, it used to be like this. It used to be tropical here. You see, it used to be, it ain't that now, it used to be. So you got a lot of hypotheticals and shit that people try to plug in here to say, okay, but you're not going to get away with that with North America. North America is a fucking ice box. Real talk. And it just come up out of the ice age around 11,000 years ago. You see? 11,000. So when you start talking about it was people's, and see, I didn't already broke this shit down. I don't need to tongue wrestle with no motherfucking body. You see what I'm saying? This is as hot as it ever been on this continent today. Do you understand that? You can go back 1,000,000 fucking years. And the further you go, the colder it gets. So this is as hot as, and it's cold in a motherfucker in this bitch now. What the fuck is people talking about? It's cold in this bitch right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you got to think, it's a fucking, what they call a Arctic wind that come up out of Canada. And they had to put some goddamn trees up in that middle part of the United States to block that sand and shit that be coming out of them, coming out of Arizona and all of, because if they didn't have them trees and that forest up in there, before they put them trees up in there, that sand would be a sandstorm all the way across the United States. So in order to block that sand from coming across there, they had to put trees, plant a lot of trees and put that forest in there to stop that shit. So if you think about this goddamn Arctic wind that's come down out of Canada, it goes straight to Texas. It goes straight to fucking Texas. And man, I didn't seen it all the way goddamn down to Houston. So if them goddamn trees wasn't in there, if you go back, even when you go back, the very terrain of the southern United States was totally different. It was warmer than the north, but what they saying during the ice age, the southern United States would have been having winters like the northern United States today. That's how the winters would be. And the winters in the north would be like motherfuckers on the North Pole. It would be like the fucking North Pole. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure this shit out. Because y'all niggas is, and it really, that is a dagger. Because you going to have to give a motherfucking hypothetical where it could have, and motherfucker, it is right now. And you can see where the glaciers was on this motherfucker, because the Great Lakes was glaciers that drug the damn earth, and drug the goddamn earth out of there, created the Great Lakes. And then when the shit melted, that's why it's fresh water. It's ice, it's fresh water. It don't come from salt water. You see what I'm saying? So they know where the goddamn glaciers then drug even across a lot of what they call the plain states and shit. Yeah, what happened to the topsoil on a lot of that shit? The goddamn glaciers drug the topsoil up off the motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? So you talking about that it was glaciers damn near almost where we'll say if you break the United States down into thirds, the top third was totally ice. It was ice. So if you know how cold it get today, and you imagine when no trees was and them damn winds was coming straight up out of, man, it was so cold in this motherfucker, man. I don't even understand how niggas could think they could get away with that. There's just no way to get away. Now, that don't mean we can't migrate over here. That don't mean we can't migrate. We can migrate wherever the fuck we want to go. But you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to fucking deal with it. Just like Matthew Henson. He was the first man at the North Pole. He was a black man, but that don't mean he original because he the first man to the North Pole. Do that make him original there? So if he want to set him a colony up there, he can go right on ahead. He's the first man up there. He can set him a colony up, call it Henson Town or whatever the fuck he want to. And people can live there for many centuries and they can trace their lineage back to Matthew Henson. And then some motherfuckers will say, man, I'm original here. Motherfucking Matthew Henson brought y'all niggas up there. You're not original to the North Pole. I'm kidding. So just because you the first motherfucker there don't make you original. You got to look at your makeup. You understand the color. And anytime you see a nigga got a lot of melanin in his skin and he got a coat on, that motherfucker got off on the wrong exit. He got off on the wrong exit. You can't, that's like a oxymoron to have a lot of melanin in your skin and have a coat on. Motherfucker, because in order to have all that melanin in your skin, you had to come from the tropics. There's no other way around that. There's no other way around that. And we trying to find any which way, but we could look at today, when you look at where all the motherfuckers that got color in their skin, whether they Indian, whether they African, or in the South Pacific, you in a tropical region. You're in a tropical region. The majority of colored people today is in a tropical region. And if it's some motherfuckers up north, they went up north, but that ain't where the fuck they came from. You understand what I'm saying? That's just like you take a fish and you put a fish in a fish bowl and you say, well, he's indigenous to the fish bowl. Just because but the motherfucker come from some lake in Africa some damn where, and you get him, and then you put him in the motherfucking fish bowl and say the goddamn fish has some babies, and the motherfucker just keep, and they say, well, goddamn it, we original to the fish bowl. Motherfucker, you come out of a lake in Africa some damn where. You know what I'm saying? So people get caught up with where they at today and whether they've been there a long time. It does not matter. You see, it does not matter. But like I say, when you look at it, when you looking at civilization, and when you even today, when you start looking at who is responsible for civilization where we at today. I'm tired of motherfuckers. When we look at the geometry, when we looking at the high science and mathematics, the astronomy, the engineering, the cities, how the cities is laid out, it is coming out of ancient Egypt. That's just a fact. That's just a fucking fact. The alphabet, the paper, every fucking thing is coming out. And so, people's is running from reality and they cannot, motherfucker, if it wasn't for ancient Egypt, you niggas would still be in the hunter and gatherer stage. Period. You niggas would still be out there picking berries and shit. You understand what I'm saying? It was the ancient African that brought us into what nationhood is about. Kingship. Ain't no kings before the kings in the Nile Valley. Niggas want to flee to Sumeria because Sumeria is biblical. You see what I'm saying? I see you niggas out there. Yeah, y'all niggas ain't got nothing but mud motherfucking ziggurats over there that then melted down. What the fucking Sumerians didn't even build in stone. The motherfucker that taught them a little stone masonry was the Egyptian architect that them motherfuckers carried off when they conquered into Egypt. But when you look at the fucking Sumerians, they built their ziggurats with mud. They didn't build with no stone, so you don't need no square, no plumb line. What the fuck? That's mud over there. So when you look at that shit now, it's all melted down. But Egypt, damn near everything in Egypt, and even though Egypt has some shit made with mud too, it still look better than that shit they got. So they even knew how to build with mud better. They got a fucking a fort that was built in the Second Dynasty, and that motherfucking wall still standing right now from the second fucking I think it's by Casa Kimwe, who was a king in the Second Dynasty. You see, in the damn fort, man, this motherfucker is huge already in the Second Dynasty. Man, the motherfuckers in nowhere else on the planet got nothing even close to it. You see what I'm saying? No other nation so I don't know why we keep running from this. So what they did, they try to create these false continents like Lemuria and Atlantis. It could have been there. It would have been there. We all, it is what it is. You need a mother civilization you can explain Egypt by. So you say, oh, well, Atlantis, and the Atlanteans fled to Egypt. You need something over. And this is where you getting a lot of this original black people from over here, because people don't understand the stories of Lemuria and shit, that they fraudulated and shit. And talking about there was blacks on Lemuria, but that was just to spite Africa. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about the blacks in Lemuria being deficient and shit. Yeah, this is all that theosophy shit, that they failed because they was deficient and all of this shit. Morally deficient and all of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't there today. It ain't there today. And so this is how they explain somehow that blacks over here, that it was some black race, but they also, white, it was white Lemurians and black Lemurians. You know what I'm saying? And so this is where you get this, this origin that the Mayans is older than but that come from crackpot occultists. what's his name? LePlon John and James Churchward and all them crackpots. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, because they were, they mad because, and what's crazy, that James Churchward brother was Albert Churchward that wrote Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man, where he was talking about it. The origins of Africa Egypt came up out of the southern African extremity. So I'm like, and that just show you how they got his own brother to create the Lemurian shit. You got Albert Churchward that wrote Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man. He wrote, I think he wrote the Book of Beginnings. No, who wrote? Was the Albert Churchward right there? Or was that Massey? Albert Churchward, I don't know. That might have been Massey that wrote the Book of Beginnings. That's 2 volumes. Egypt Light of the World was 2 volumes. And that's Massey too. And he had, but Egypt Light of the World was his, I believe, was his top book. But anyway, yeah, they ain't yeah, they already know. Ain't no way getting away that this is at the end of the day, North America is an Arctic land, man. For and the further you go back, the colder it get. And so when people can tell me what the fuck was you doing, you had to be walking around looking like an Eskimo. Shit, that's the only way you could survive over here. You had to be walking around like a fucking Eskimo. And as cold as it is, I could see why a motherfucker probably went in a goddamn cave to cut down that wind. Shit, you gonna be out there in the wind in the open like that? Shit, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, family, I'll see y'all in a minute. Get over to Patreon, click that link at the top of the chat, hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed. Get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends, and make sure you comment and let me know how you feel. I'll see y'all in a minute. Black Power.